The John LeBank Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John LeBank Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, and alert the media. The banger is on the microphone. Well, the Republicans failed to repeal Obamacare, and that's, well, because they went about it the way the Democrats went about it. They played dirty tricks, they hide behind closed doors, make their little deals, and then when they expect to have a vote and they think everybody's going to fall in line, everybody in the Republican Party, people that were sent up there to repeal Obamacare and not replace it with another piece of crap, but sent up there to get rid of it and then to try to figure out how to bring down health costs. Yet, the Republicans figure they're going to do the same dirty tricks that the Democrats did way back when they put through Obamacare, that they're going to do those same tricks to get rid of Obamacare and put in the next care, the Trump care or the Ryan care, whatever they want to call it. Yet I'm sitting here going, wait a minute, guys. Me as an independent person was sitting back saying, weren't we all criticizing Nancy Pelosi for saying...
But we have to pass the bill so that you can find out what is in it.
And now the Republicans were going to try to do the same thing. And they're trying to get it done Thursday night, and they couldn't get it done Thursday night, so they postponed it to Friday, and then the votes weren't there. Because you guys didn't appeal to the people who were sent there to just get rid of all the stuff like the mandate, get rid of Obamacare, all of it. That's been a promise of the Republicans for 6 years maybe even longer. Yet, they go behind closed doors. They shuffle out a piece of legislation that barely anybody had a whole lot of time to read. And then they want to shove a vote down everybody's throat, and they expect people like Rand Paul, my bad there, to get behind something that we know he clearly isn't going to be a part of. And the establishment in the Republican Party is just like the establishment in the Democrat Party. They expect everybody to fall in line, lockstep. Well, it doesn't happen in the Republican Party because there are some individuals there who actually do some thinking in the Republican Party. They're not a bunch of drones or sheeple. Although there are plenty of those in the Republican Party as well as, I don't even know the number in the Democrat Party. There are people with integrity in the Republican Party. May not be a whole lot, ladies and gentlemen, but there are a few. And there were enough there with some integrity to say, we're not going to get behind this bill because it's a piece of junk. We want it repealed. If we have to find a way to lower health costs, then do that later. We've got to repeal the damage that has happened through Obamacare. And when we hear people like, we can't have a whole bunch of people not with health insurance because we repealed Obamacare, they're not going to be without health insurance. They can go out and purchase health insurance on their own. They're just not going to get subsidized by the U.S. taxpayer or the person who couldn't afford insurance and didn't want to take the subsidy and then who got fined and had to pay. A lot of you are paying right now because you didn't have health insurance, because you really couldn't afford health insurance and you didn't want to stoop to the level of accepting money from the government which they stole from other people to pay for your health insurance. If you even qualified, because not everybody qualified for the subsidies, and because the subsidies were up and down and this and that and the other thing, you could think you qualified, but if you made a little bit extra money, then you didn't qualify, and then you got screwed. And you didn't know you get screwed until you filled out your taxes. And there's a whole bunch of people on the left complaining, oh, we can't get rid of Obamacare. Why? It is damaging. Are you saying we should take from people and then give to other people? I mean, I know you are. That just doesn't fly, though, with a lot of Americans who work hard and who can barely scrape by, and then they're being forced to pay either higher premiums in insurance because of this legislation called Obamacare, or they can't even afford insurance and they don't qualify, or they barely qualify, or they don't know if they're going to qualify, because if they make a little too much one year, then they're going to have to pay the government a whole bunch of money back, or they can't even afford it, so they're going to have to pay a whole bunch of money just so the government doesn't get mad at them for not having health insurance. And when did the government and the Democrats, because they're the ones who got behind the Obamacare, they're the ones who passed it through reconciliation, which here we got the Republicans trying to do it the same way. Boy, they were complaining back then when Obamacare was passed through reconciliation because they couldn't pass it through a normal means where you had to get a supermajority vote. They couldn't do that, the Democrats, so they went through the budgetary process and they backrooted it in and they snuck the bill in so it could pass, and they cheated a major bill, major 1/6 of the financial economic weight of the country. 1/6 of the entire economy, and they backdoor a bill to get what they want through because they couldn't do it through proper methods that are constitutional. And now the Republicans said, well, if you do it, well, we can do it too. So we're going to try to find a way to pass through reconciliation because they won't have the vote. They didn't even have the votes for that. That tells you how bad this bill was. And the American people want to get rid of Obamacare. But now we're going to have to sit back and wait to see what the heck is going on, because this bill that Paul Ryan and, yes, Donald Trump worked on, and the establishment Republicans, this bill didn't hold the weight enough to bring in people from their own party. They have a majority in the House. It should be easy to pass a bill if the bill is good. But no, the bill must not have been that good because there are people who don't want to vote for it in your own party. We can forget the Democrats on this one. They forgot the Republicans during the Obamacare. They just said, the heck with the Republicans. We're going to pass this through reconciliation, and we're going to do it the end route. We're going to go do an end run around the Constitution to implement Obamacare. And here the Republicans think they can do it the same way, and they don't even have the votes for it. Trump's disappointed. This is like his first major defeat as president. Paul Ryan, that guy's a waste of time. Because they didn't give us what we wanted, and what they were going to give us was made behind closed doors again. And we're supposed to accept that as the American people. This is how the politicians, the establishment politicians, work. We saw it with the Democrats. They all joined in, went backdoor route, and got things done. And now we're seeing it with the Republicans. Instead of the Republicans saying, hey, we're going to hold ourselves to a higher standard and do things constitutionally and have a supermajority pass a major piece of legislation. Now, I can tell you, there was a bill, I think there were 16 bills that were passed by the House during the Obama administration. But the bill that came out, I think it was in 2015, might have been 2016, but it was a year ago or so. That passed the House. That was a different bill than the one that was currently on the table. That one made it all the way up to the president, and you had less Republicans in Congress at the time. It repealed the mandate. It took care of a bunch of other things. Of course, Obama wasn't going to repeal his own signature legislation, but instead of going behind closed doors and come up with a new crappy bill that had no chance of passing, why wouldn't you put up that same bill, reinsert it into the process? It passed last time it was through. Why wouldn't it pass now? You even have more Republicans on your side. So now you know you can pass it through the House easy, and you can pass it through the Senate easy, and then it can march up right up to the president and he can sign it. But they didn't do that. And it's curious, why didn't they do that? That's because the establishment is so used to the way things are, and that they don't want to repeal this piece of legislation or even the bad parts of it. Because they're all the same. The Republican establishment and the Democrat establishment. The problem with the Republicans is there are people who are not part of the establishment that are elected to office, and they're the actual good people that hold up the bad legislation. You don't have too much of that on the Democrat side. Their whip gets everybody whipped into shape, and they get to pass a bill at will when they're in charge. But now they're not in charge. It's the Republicans who have taken 1,000 seats in the last 6 years across the nation from the Democrats. You think the Republicans would have all this political strength and political capital to get things done. And yet, they introduced a bill that was dead on arrival. And I think, this is just my personal opinion, people like Paul Ryan and the other establishment Republicans don't really care if Obamacare goes away. What they're doing are symbolic gestures to make people think that they're trying to get something done. And there's opposition. Well, let me tell you, you establishment types, we're going to continue to vote you guys out of there. We got rid of the Democrats, at least enough of them to switch the power. Now we'll take out the Republicans that are not doing the work of the American people, that are not working in the best interest of the American people. Get this done. Trump's worried about his big tax cuts coming up, and he should have done that first. It should have been easy, Mr. President, to eliminate Obamacare. You have all the votes you need if you push through a bill that's sound and worthy and helps the American people. But obviously, the majority that you have isn't strong enough because there are people defecting from the Republican Party on this subject, on this bill. They looked at it, or if they didn't even have a chance to look at it, you don't know how much anybody got to look at this bill. Because a lot of it, again, was done behind closed doors. It wasn't a year ago that we had something that passed right up to the president. Maybe a little longer than a year ago. But it made it to Barack Obama's desk. He just vetoed it. Send that same bill along. What's changed since then? What has changed since then? Well, the bill that they produced this week changed. It wasn't as good as the bill that came out a year and a half ago, the one that made it to President Obama's desk. Otherwise, it would have made it to the vote. It would have passed in vote, went up to the Senate, passed in the Senate, and then it would have been put on Mr. Donald Trump's desk there, the president, and he would have signed it into law. But obviously, the Republicans are more comfortable acting like Democrats right now. Even though they're winning as Republicans, They want to act like Democrats and play dirty tricks with a major piece of legislation. Anyways, folks, we're up against our first break this hour. Stay tuned to our sponsors. Make sure you support them because they support us the more that you support them. More on the flip side.
Hey, don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
I promise. If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now. VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805. Check out the new book from Derek Shelmerdine,
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It tells the story of rock and roll from its roots right up until the mid-70s punk.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Not just the music, but also the events that shaped the music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
It includes the backgrounds to recording sessions, singles, album releases, births and deaths, epic concerts, and festivals.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Shelmerdine has made a painstaking effort to document pretty much every event that would prove significant in shaping popular music.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Purchase the book at www.rockandrollunraveled.com. Follow him at Twitter at R&R Unraveled and look him up on Facebook at Rock and Roll Unraveled.
Rock and Roll Unraveled.
By author Derek Shelmerdine.
Available now.
You're listening to the John LeBang Show.
On the Radio Revolution, right here.
It's better than some good Thai stick, man. Yes, I would like some too. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm getting the trolls now on my Facebook page, and that's pretty normal. I sometimes draw them out with my posts and my, comments that I make on my videos or my radio show here. They don't seem to like what I have to say, and they are trying to explain to me what free speech is, that they can come to my page and express as much of their views as they want, comment as much as they truly like, and it doesn't matter that they dominate my whole page. That's freedom to them. That is not quite freedom to me. To me, that's like somebody coming in and posting a sign or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8 or 10 on my lawn and expecting me not to take down the signs or not to say, dude, enough with the signs already. This is not your property. This is my property. You want to put signs? Put them in your front yard. Oh, your front yard's not big enough? I'm sorry, dude. You can't use mine. My front yard, my lawn is for whatever I want to do with it. And if I want to post a sign on my lawn saying whatever, I can do that. It's my lawn. You can't do that. It's not your lawn. You can come up and talk to me and go, hey, man, I don't like your sign. I can say, okay, tough crap. Move along. You don't like my sign? Put a sign up in your yard that tells everybody something different. And if I don't like it, oh well, I'll ignore it. It's real easy to ignore these things. But see, these trolls, these people who try to dominate other people's pages or other people's, comments on their videos, these people are, they're sad people. They must not have a life of their own, or it must be a pitiful life to want to dominate someone else's life or wall, so to speak. You got to wonder if they're not hidden, secret stalkers or closet stalkers. They feel like they have to put forth their view on your page. And the latest guy, I just made a fool out of him. Because I told him that's enough, dude. He'd commented, 4, 5, 6 times in a row on my page. And I was like, okay, dude, that's enough, man. You stated your point. If you want to continue this conversation, take it to your wall, because I don't want my wall filled with 500 comments from one person when Okay, we get your point. You don't like my post. You only came here to fight with me. Because I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't come to the show ever and listen to what I have to say here. And he doesn't comment on, my posts that are generic or talking about something outside of, his belief system. But when my comments, my posts are expressed in a certain manner with a certain connotation to it, he finds a reason to come fight. He never gives me a thumbs up for anything that might agree with him. He never says, hey, man, that's a cool post. I like that meme you just posted. Or, I did a post about 2 days ago about sharing your friend's stuff over people you don't know. And here's this guy's a musician, this little troll guy. And he doesn't get any shares. I know. I see what's going on with the people that are friends on my Facebook page, which aren't truly friends. I'm starting to get a kick out of, people talking about, I just reached so many friends here on Facebook. I'm like, yeah, you probably don't know 4/5 of those people in person. Probably never met them. But that's cool. 4,000. A lot of people are liking and following your stuff, and sure, that's great. But the trolls out there who think they can dominate your page, and then when you tell them to quit, when you tell them to, listen, okay, dude, enough is enough. You've stated your point. If you have any more to say, just do it on your wall, right? Please do it on your wall. And then they come back and they can't stop commenting because their wall doesn't get people watching them. People have unfollowed this person. So because a person like myself who does a radio show and has a few people following me, not that many, I'm not the greatest, right? They come on and then these trolls start attacking me every which way possible, right? Oh, you pre-record your shows sometimes. Yeah, I have to. When I'm doing 40 characters, I have to pre-record my show a little bit. I mean, it's just hard to do a bunch of characters and sound effects and everything when you're a one-man show. We're trying to build a team here, but we don't have that team put together as of yet. I'm still a one-man show. Then they come and attack you for other things. Trying to blame you for the president being elected, and then you look back at him and say, no. I voted against Hillary, baby. That's what I did. I voted against Hillary. I couldn't help it. DT was the only opposition to her. If you in the Democrat Party would have, allowed Bernie to win like he should have won instead of letting Hillary come in and cheat him out of the nomination, there might have been a different outcome to the election. But there wasn't, because the Democrats sat quietly while Hillary Clinton ripped off Bernie Sanders.
What difference at this point does it make?
Yes, we can.
And now a lot of people are butthurt that Donald Trump is running the country. Well, you should have put somebody better up there. That's all I have to say. The reason Donald Trump is president is because you guys let Hillary become the nomination of the Democrat Party. And there were going to be a great number of us who weren't voting for Donald Trump. We were voting against Hillary. The fault in Donald Trump being elected is not on the people who voted for him. It was the people who supported Hillary Clinton and allowed her to become the nomination for the Democrat Party. And when you think back to all that, how terrible of a candidate was Hillary Clinton to lose to a Donald Trump? Donald Trump is he's not a perfect candidate. He's not a perfect president. This election, this past one, really got deep into the dirt. It wasn't the most highlighted president the election we'll ever have. We might want to forget this past election. But for people who are so mad that Donald Trump is president, why didn't you select a better candidate than Hillary? You had Bernie. That was better than Hillary. Yet you let them steal the nomination away from Bernie, and Hillary got lifted up. She was risen to the top of the Democrat Party so she could run for president, so they could have the first woman president. If we're going to have a first woman president, at least have somebody with honor and dignity and not a real life scumbag like Hillary Clinton. People were going to vote against Hillary. It didn't matter who the Republican candidate was. Hillary was the worst presidential candidate in the history of this nation. And for anybody to be all upset that Donald Trump is in office, you got to look yourself in the mirror, folks. You got to look yourself in the mirror and say, we nominated a piece of crap. And the piece of crap was so bad that Donald Trump beat her. For all his failings, for all his, not so perfect gestures and not being the most presidential of candidates, of presidents. Hillary was so bad she lost to him. Now there's going to be a lot of people go, well, the popular vote. Get rid of California. California is going to vote one way, always, never changes. Whether they're politically inclined that way, whether they're brainwashed that way, whatever it might be, they continually vote one way. And because they hold so much of the population, a vast majority of the population, well, it looks like more people vote for a person than actually did. And what do I mean by that? Just because there are the largest state in the union votes one way doesn't control the whole country. And if you look at state by state by state by state by state, which is how it's supposed to be, that's why we have an electoral college. Michigan is not California and should not be ruled by Californian rules. Michigan is a different state. It's a nation upon itself. So is North Dakota. So is Ohio. So is Washington. Not Washington, D.C., the state of Washington. And the Electoral College, your popular vote counts within your state, and that's it. And then whoever wins that state, unless you make some kind of constitutional adjustment that can split the votes according to how the state voted, which I'm not opposed of. There's at least one state that does that. I don't see why more states don't do that. But unless your state does that, all the votes, according to the state law rules, your electoral votes, that is, go towards one candidate. So it doesn't matter if they win a state by 51 to 49, all the votes go that way. So even in California, even if there was 49% of the population, which there isn't, but even if there was 49% of the population that voted for a Republican, they are not going to win ever in California because or they're not going to be represented in California is a better way of putting it, because all 55 votes, or however many they have, I believe it's 55, close enough, all those votes go one way. Now, how fair is that, popular vote in your state? So that's why we have the Electoral College. So each state is represented. And California still gets 50 plus votes. There's states that get 2, 3. That's barely a representation, but at least they have a voice, so their little minority doesn't get overrun by California. And that's what happened this election. The Electoral College worked to protect the minority, if you want to go by popular vote in all the states. But if you go straight up on state by state, and you just count states, you don't even give the electoral votes per state. You just give 1 point to each state. Donald Trump wins in a landslide. A landslide. The entire country, outside of a few states like New York and California and some other ones, voted for Donald Trump. Landslide if you give each state 1 vote. But because of the Electoral Colleges, states like California get so many votes, they dictate a lot of the popular election across the country. They dictate it even with their 55, 60 votes. I don't know how many they get. Anyways, we're long this segment, ladies and gentlemen.
Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You'd be crazy to change the dial now.
CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. Their billers and managers are all dedicated to working for you to increase your profits. For more information, call CRRM at 248-579-3805. CRRM, CarePoint Billing Services. And allow me to do a little bit of self-promotion. If you like what you're hearing on the John LeBang Show and you want to know more, then feel free to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. We have archives of the show. We have music and comedy and all kinds of things for you to peruse around and enjoy yourself while you're getting the full banger experience. Now, if you want to contact the John LeBang Show, maybe you want to send us some hate mail, or maybe a picture of your girlfriend, or maybe you just want to say, hey, it's a great show, then you can send us an email at jlebang@live.com. You can go to our YouTube channel and check out our videos there at youtube.com/LeBangYourHead. Follow us on Twitter at John LeBang, and if you're on Facebook, then go to our Facebook page, The John LeBang Show, because we like it when you like that page. This half hour is brought to you by Pane and the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. For a beautiful sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass Commercial and Residential Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable maggots who collaborate must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to this first hour's second half hour of the John LeBang Show. We had we're lucky to be here this week, I'll say that, ladies and gentlemen. We had a major computer crash early in the week. Started with the keyboard not working, and all of a sudden, the computer wouldn't start anymore. The evil Windows 10 did a upload during the middle of the night, and apparently it was a little too much for my slightly older computer system, so I couldn't even get the computer to start, which through the whole week's pre-broadcast studying into flux into the ether, because I had to then, in an emergency attempt, send it out to a computer repair shop, because through many people who were trying to help me online and my friends and such, everybody was trying to help me get this computer problem fixed, and nobody could solve it. So I had to take it into really cool little computer shop over here in Taylor, and they did some work on it. They saved all the information. That was my main concern. I was going to lose I was going to lose years and years and years of show, archives and sound effects and just all kinds of things I was really worried about losing. And so I got it to the shop, and they assured me they could save it. They checked it out. It was Windows. Some kind of driver in Windows decided to lock my computer up, make it unstartable. And because of that, I had to take it to these gentlemen. They did a great job. They even threw in a free keyboard for me, so that was nice. Since whatever Windows did to my computer shorted out my keyboard at the same time, which was amazing to them as well to myself. The keyboard just didn't work after whatever happened with Windows. So I had them reinstall Windows 7 in it instead of 10. And I'm telling you folks, my computer is so quiet now, it doesn't seem to be possessed. Remember I would talk about how my computer was sounding possessed some days? Well, my computer is so quiet right now, it's not running hard. It's actually running like it's factory built. Come right from the factory, I should say. And that's because it kind of is now. We kind of rebooted the whole system by reformatting the disk and then re-uploading the Windows 7 instead of the Windows 10. They saved all my archives and everything, and it was a big learning experience because I knew I should have a exterior hard drive holding most of my archives, and I could draw from that, and then I could switch computers and whatever. But the way things have been going around here, there hasn't been the money to just throw out to spend on a 1 terabyte or 2 terabyte external hard drive, because we're not raking in the big dough here yet, ladies and gentlemen. We're moving along, building our advertisers and growing in stations, but we're still a fairly small operation here, and we run on a shoestring budget. And because of that, we can't afford some of the other luxuries that some other shows can. But we still find a way to bring you a quality broadcast either way. And I'm very happy that this company helped me in getting my stuff back into shape. But it brings to my attention that I need to upgrade real soon. And we're building this team, and that's part of the building the team is we're going to look into upgrading the entire show again. We continually do it. As you've seen on YouTube the past, 6 months, we've got the TV screens going on behind me, and that shows a lot of really cool stuff. We've got good sound quality. We've got the lighting in, but now we need to upgrade our computer system so we can expand even further, because we are pushing some of this. So that was one of the little experiences I had this week. Gave me a chance to use my laptop, which I was really holding in reserve for other things, but now I'm going to start using a combination of both for not only the shows, but for everyday research and stuff. I can take it with me on the road. I'm not a guy to jump on the whole technology bandwagon for everything, but I think it's time we need to get with the times on some of this stuff. We're thinking about doing some Facebook Live stuff real soon, as well as we're getting ready to tap into some live broadcasts on some other stations, and some of the stations that are carrying reruns, they might even be carrying our live broadcast. We're working on all these details for you. So I'm sure I'm just rambling on, and this is not something you care to hear about, but it was very close for us this week to not even having a show ready for you, because once I got the computer back, I had to upload all the programs that ran the show, that did the work for the show, and I still don't have all of them uploaded, but I have enough to give you a makeshift show for this week. In the second hour this week, you're going to get a special. We're going to play our 4th Banger Verse episode or volume, and that's going to be consisting of a bunch of our characters. And it's going to be called, well, actually, we're not going to tell you what it's going to be called. You're going to find out tomorrow. Or whenever the second hour of this broadcast is played. But you'll like it. It's Shady will be there, and Leroy and Wilbert, and I'll be there. And you'll be able to have a full 60 minutes of full-blown comedy at your fingertips. So you can sit back and enjoy and have some good laughs, since, not every hour is filled with laughter here on the John LeBang Show. We discuss serious topics, we rant, we sometimes even play music if we feel, like a band is worthy enough. We are going to start having more featured sections in the show. We've been talking to our good friend Derek Shelmerdine, the gentleman who wrote the book Rock and Roll Unraveled, and we're working out a deal right now on what days we can fit him in, and he'll be joining us once a month for maybe a 10-minute segment, and we're going to talk about rock music and what's going on with the classic rockers who are still out there producing music. And that should be a very exciting time. And once I get that all worked out, as well as we're working on some other regular guests to join the show to give you a more diverse content selection of the John LeBang Show, or during the John LeBang Show. So that way you're not just hearing Banger rant on all the time, or Banger telling you the news, that we have other interesting people joining us to discuss things that I'm sure will interest you, as well as, of course, interest us. And then we still are going to have, Shady and Wilbert and Leroy and all our friends in the Banger universe there joining us here and there. Shady's going to continue to do the Cool or Uncool, which has become one of the favorite segments here on the John LeBang Show, and you'll be hearing a version of that a little bit later on. And speaking of specials, we've also begun work on Destiny Wars Part 3, and we're in the early stages of writing the story. And as soon as that's all put together, you'll be getting Part 3 sometime. We don't even know when it's going to be released as of yet. We're going to take our time on this one. We were a little bit rushed on the last Destiny Wars, and we want to make sure we do this properly and build a really good story. And although Destiny Wars was really one of the best science fiction drama, radio drama things that we've ever done, we think we can continue to improve, and we're going to work really hard over the next weeks and maybe even months to produce Destiny Wars Part 3. And we don't know how many versions of Destiny Wars or how many volumes there's going to be, because this is an overall arching story that is encompassing not only every character that we have, but a lot of different subject matter and a lot of different realms of the universe, and so to speak. So when we get that done, we're going to produce that for you and bring it out, and you'll be the first to know when it's ready, or when there's a due date for it to come out, release date. More show jargon right there. And don't forget, if you're not aware of when the John LeBang Show is actually playing on the station you're listening to, or maybe you want to check out some other stations as well, maybe you're not picking up the feed as well on some stations or on others, then you can go to our Facebook page, and we post the weekly schedule up there, and you can see the times, dates, stations, all nicely listed there, and you can actually just click on the link. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to type. You don't have to do anything besides click on a link, and it'll take you right to the show. All the times there on the weekly schedule is Eastern Standard Time, so makes it easy for everybody in the U.S. to at least figure out the time. If you're in the United Kingdom, you're 5 hours ahead of us for the most part. Other parts of the world, just Google, your time zone versus Eastern, and you'll be able to figure out the difference in time, so you can click on when you want to listen to the John LeBang Show. Because again, we're growing with the new stations and being now on Bubba Army Radio. We're really growing as a show, And despite the people who have been criticizing me and the people that have been trolling me the last day or so, making fun of my show, pointing out what they say are bad things about the show, or just trying to hurt, attack, and discredit me, they can go right ahead. Things are moving quite nicely here on the John LeBang Show, and that's because I produce good information, a lot of good comedy, good music, good interviews. That's what we do here. We're not here to BS you or to run things, to make you feel like this or that or the other thing. We just share what we know, share what we find. We let you decide what you want to decide from it, and we go from there. We're not trying to shove our viewpoints down your throat. If you don't like what you're hearing, it's easy enough to turn us off, right? You get people who complain, oh, it's only your views on my show. Well, that's because it's my show. What do you want? I mean, you want me to tell everybody else's view on my show? No. If they have views that they want to express out to the world, get a show. It's that easy. Start get a microphone, plug into your computer, and start doing a radio show. And maybe if you're good enough and you don't give one-sided information and you're not a biased person and you're not filling the airwaves with BS, you will grow like the John LeBang Show grows, getting many, 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 many more listeners, and you won't have to worry about what the banger is saying because your show will be doing well, and you can continue to spew your information, your subject matter, your opinions on your show, and you don't have to worry about the banger. I don't know why anybody wants to worry about the banger and what his opinions are, and to get involved and to start, causing trouble anywhere with the banger. Because the banger's growing, and the banger does things as best as he possibly can, and he's trying to raise the standards daily on this show. We're not trying to lower the standards by getting in the dirt with everybody, by bringing in people so we can fight on the air. That's good radio. Bring people on who don't know what they're talking about just so you can fight on the air. What is this, Jerry Springer radio? I don't think so. This is the John LeBang Show, and you're going to get plenty of John LeBang on this show. If it wasn't the John LeBang Show, then you would get plenty of whoever's show it was on, whoever it was. If Shady ran the show, it would be Shady's Superfly Sexy Show. If somebody else ran a show, it would be their show. But this is the John LeBang Show. And I can say and do whatever I want on the show. And as long as the stations continue to enjoy the content and want me on their stations, then there's no big deal of what I say. And if you don't like it, turn it off. It's real simple. It's just like the people that are trolls and everybody turns them off on the Facebook feed there because nobody wants to see their stupid posts. You just click off, unfollow. It's easy. We don't want to listen to you. Goodbye. That's freedom in itself. Not coming to somebody else's page or somebody else's front yard and posting your beliefs on somebody else's property, somebody else's wall. Sure, you can have enlightening conversation if the, but you have to have people who are enlightened and not trolls doing it. Intelligent conversation comes from people using some brain pattern here, some thought, and discussing things logically and not start throwing around names and coming and causing problems. But trolls and stalkers and people who are just filled with hate, political hacks, when they don't see people posting their beliefs and they get mad about it, they come and attack you on your page and then they think that's freedom of speech. That's the same mentality as those people who are out protesting, and because nobody wants to listen to them, they break some windows or they bust some cars. They throw rocks at the cops. Because nobody wants to listen to you, you've got to throw a temper tantrum and scream and holler and take over everything until people baby you. sit there. Oh, it's okay, little baby. It's okay. Oh, we'll just do it your way. Don't cry anymore. It's okay. Yeah, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll do it your way. It's okay. Please don't have a temper tantrum anymore, please. Give me a break. We all have opinions, and we express them on our things, whatever they may be. For me, it's a radio show, it's a YouTube channel, it's my Facebook page, my Twitter page. You, as an individual, can do those same things. And you don't have to come over to my stuff and cause problems with me when you have the same freedoms as I do to publish your own material, to talk about things in your own way, to do a radio show, to do a podcast, to do a YouTube channel. Just do it. And if you're good and people like hearing what you have to say, they'll come and listen. Of course, if nobody listens to what you have to say because you're crazy, or you're a whack job, or you're just an idiot, then nobody's going to come to your stuff. Nobody's going to follow you. Nobody's going to comment on your posts or whatever. And you're going to get mad about that because nobody's listening to what I have to say. Oh, so let's start crying and going to other people's and start whining. Oh. Poor little children. It's amazing we haven't grown up in this country. So many people that are above the age of 30 and in the 40s and in the 50s still haven't grown up. They still have to whine and complain, oh, it's all unfair. You're not letting me post everything on your wall that I want to say, and that's unfair. You're a fascist. Funny stuff, man. It's funny stuff, ladies and gentlemen, that we have to deal with this stuff. But that's what social media has become. Social media has become this thing where everybody has to be so narcissistic and everybody must believe what I believe. And if nobody believes what I believe, I've got to change them by threatening them or discrediting them or bullying them, whatever it might be. Trolling them, stalking them, whatever it might be. But it doesn't work with John LeBang, because the banger, nothing. It's so, I've got shields upon shields upon shields. The Enterprise don't have as many deflector shields as I do. And I've got very powerful weapons in my arsenal. One of them is a microphone. But the most important one is the brain. I use it for thinking. And I use it to get my point across to you. In combination with this microphone and the speakers you are listening to, you're getting the sonic vibrations of the John LeBang Show. And you continue to listen to it because we bring you entertainment and enlightenment. We've got to take a quick break, folks. We're up against that again. More on the flip side as the John LeBang Show rolls down the tracks. Stay tuned.
Don't touch that dial. The John LeBang Show will be right back.
You can bet on it, man.
Powerful, epic music by Toothbox Row. Life-changing lyrics come in every style, empowering humanity to finally unlock the chains of bondage. Experience the edgy side of positive music and rock your world today. From Primal to Divine, available now at sassyalternativemusic.com.
And I'd like to welcome our new sponsor, Pane in the Glass, commercial and residential window cleaning. For a beautiful, sparkling shine that's crystal clear, call Pane in the Glass Window Cleaning. You can find them on Facebook at Pane in the Glass.
If you want to contact the John LeBang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John LeBang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John LeBang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the last little segment. We went a little long last time around, so we got to keep this short before Shady comes in with Cool or Uncool. So I forgot to mention the name of the computer company that helped me out with my computer problem, so I want to give them a little pub right here, a little bit of free advertising, because they did me well, and they also gave me a free keyboard, so I figured I owe them a little bit. I like to pay people back who helped me out. So they are Lawrence Technology Services. Their number is 313-299-1503. They're located at 26797 Van Born Road in Taylor, Michigan. That's Lawrence Technology Services, 313-299-1503. Wanted to give them a little pub for helping me out this past weekend, basically, and it was really cheap too, because it cost me like $80 and they saved my life. That's not too bad. Doctors, if to save your life, cost you tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to save your life. Who knows how much it costs to save your life from the government? It costs you years. They don't even help save your life. So it's nice that the Lawrence Technology Services was there for me when I needed them.
Hey, John, are you done talking yet? Because we got to get to this cool or uncool,
Well, I was waiting on you, Shady.
What do you mean you were waiting on me? You're just yammering on like you always do. Complaining and whining and moaning.
Listen, I wasn't actually complaining or whining or moaning this time, Shady. I was talking about people who complained, whined, and moaned.
Well, I guess that's true and all. And you know what, John?
What's that, Shady?
He's still filibustering you as of this moment.
You mean he's still on my page?
He hasn't stopped all day, John.
You think people would have something better to do with their life?
Well, that tells you something about their life when they got nothing better to do than to filibuster your page, John, since you're a nobody.
That's what I'm trying to say. I'm a nobody.
Makes no sense to me. If you're going to filibuster somebody, filibuster someone who's important.
So, do you have a cool or uncool?
Hell yeah, I do.
Well, what is it?
Give me the intro, John.
This hour's cool or uncool is
trolling around on John's page.
Well, you said it was topical.
Do I lie?
Well, I don't know. Your nose looks like it's getting bigger.
Now, don't start with the Pinocchio references. It was hard enough to get Leroy to understand.
All right, if you want to join in, feel free to give us a call, or you can send us an email to jlebang@live.com. Our first call comes from Washington, D.C. What say you?
It's been an amazing journey for me. It's been a lot of fun. I never thought I'd be a politician in my life.
Okay, thanks for your call.
Every time we have a cool or uncool, he's calling.
I told you he likes to listen.
John, he's not listening.
Carrie in Boston, Massachusetts, you're up next. Okay, thanks for your call.
Thank God he's not Secretary of State anymore. Sounds like he's about to die.
Well, he sure looked dead for the past 20 years.
That's what happens when you're in the skull and bones, John.
You may be right. Up next, we go out to Cora in Naples, Florida. What say you?
You keep trolling the radio! Put the other guy on!
Okay, thanks for your call.
You know, John, there is overwhelming support for me taking over the show.
Well, there's not support from the leadership. Sanctuary City, you're up next.
Hello, John. How are you?
Abu, I told you can just walk into the studio if you want to talk to us.
Well, I'm working right now. I wanted to know if I could sing a song.
John, don't let him.
Well, what song do you want to sing, Abu? We don't have a lot of time.
Oh, it won't be long. Let me go. 1, 2, 3.
Thanks for your call.
Shady, why'd you hang up on him?
Because we're too close to the end of the show, and I don't want to get sick.
Well, that was extremely rude.
Like I care. Time to go now, John. See you later. Bye.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen, for yet another 60 minutes of sonic vibrations in the can. I'd like to thank all my affiliate stations for letting us be part of their family. Don't forget to go to my website. That's www.jlebang.com. Thank you all for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, and some of you, that's in the next hour. This is John LeBang, signing off from the Banger Studios.
3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
Resistance is futile.
Hello, this is the Sanctuary City Bowling Center.
How may I help you?
You have open bowling tonight?
Yes, we do. From 9 p.m. to 9:15 p.m.
Well, what the hell is that? 15 minutes? How am I supposed to bowl another 300 then?
We do not want people to bowl so well that they make other people feel bad for not being as good of a bowler.
Well, is the manager there?
May I ask who is calling, please?
Tell him immigration's calling.